Hello everybody, this is Oliver from Neo and today we are going to talk about Koicha Matcha. This is actually a matcha form or a matcha which is drunk during the Japanese tea ceremony. And when you go to the tea ceremony, you actually have two possibilities of drinking matcha. One is the Usucha, so the lighter or the drinking matcha, and the other one is the thicker or the so-called Koicha Matcha. The differences between these two is not only in the amount of water which you are using. Normally a Koicha you use 30 to 50 milliliters of water with around 4 grams of matcha tea. Meanwhile, you use 2 grams of matcha powder for around 80 to 100 milliliters of matcha for the Usucha. So you see different quantities of matcha and different quantities of water. And there's also another aspect is that actually when you have Usucha matcha, this is dedicated for one person, so one matcha for one person. Meanwhile, the Koicha matcha is a very intimate type of sharing green tea, and there you often share this between 2 or 3 people, and then you share the same bowl in between the different person who are participating in the matcha ceremony or in the tea ceremony together. So today I'm alone, so I'll do it with myself. I hope you can do it when you do it at home with somebody you share the moment with, but I will show you how this looks like and how a Koicha matcha actually is prepared. What do I need? So we make it pretty simple. Sifter is always very important, especially for the Koicha matcha, as the paste is a little bit, or the matcha gets quite thick. You really want to avoid any crumbs in the tea, and either you have beautiful chisaku or you have a normal teaspoon, which I have, and then you need the matcha. The matcha I suggest you to use is really that you need a matcha which is fine, sweet, round, and look that it is not bitter. In this case, matcha from Yabukita is a little bit too bitter, so maybe try to get Okumidori matcha, or also Goku matcha works pretty well, or a Samidori matcha. These are a little bit the sweetest or the finest matcha, and these are the ones I suggest you to use. In this case, I use Okumidori matcha from the region of Usucha. So you see, this is a half. So this would be now 1 Usucha. Well, this pack is already empty because it's made for 1 serving. Then you use just a little bit more. So we pack in 1 and 2 more. So you can really see that this is a big quantity of matcha which is used for this, and you just pass it through the sifter. Good, so we are through. Just put this aside. And now what we need is the Jasen. If you don't have a bamboo whisk at home, you can use also a normal whisk, or you could also use aero latte. But for the Koicha, actually, what you don't do is that you froth, or did you kind of whisk the tea very, very strongly, but you just glide over it and you slowly make it into a nice paste. So we only put in a little bit of water, and then we start. And you can really see that this becomes a very, very thick paste. So very smoothly gliding into in the chawan, and you can see how beautiful already the whisk is, and you can really see that this is a thick paste. You can even turn it like this, so not that it goes out, but you can really see this is a rather thick paste when I turn it around, and it nearly doesn't go out. And now in the end, I'm just adding a little bit more water, just a little bit more, to give it up, get it up to 50 ml, and to make it a little bit more drinkable. Now let's go into the tasting. It has such a calming effect, this whisking around, it's incredible. So now let's go just into the taste. It's incredibly sweet, due to the fact that the okomidori is very sweet and round, and you have a massive intensity of sweetness in the first drink, and then you have a little bit of a maltiness coming in. You have a slight hint of astringency coming in, but it's not very strong. You have a lot of different taste aspects as well coming in. You have a little bit of maltiness, and have a creaminess, I have a kind of a nuttiness. Then it goes over into much more of a green flavor. It a little bit this grassiness, then a fresh citrusy note coming in. So you're going from a intense sweetness, then you have the fruitiness developing, then going over into a more kind of a grassy, late grass, then a citrusy note coming in, and then in the end you have a slight astringency to the note of the tea, a small tingling, but all in all, a very broad taste experience. It's a little bit like when you take a small amount of gyokuro, you have also these different layers of taste developing in your palate. Exactly the same with Koicha Matcha, and additionally you have nearly, it's like a little bit of a cream, the gliding over also the top of your tongue, bringing out all the different taste notes. And I'll just have another sip if I see something or find something else. Like in the middle, you really have a little bit of this different vegetal notes. I have a little notes. I have a little bit of spinach. I have late summer grass. But the more now I drink, the stronger also a little bit it is. It goes, or it lays on the astringent side. So the citrusy and fresh note is getting much stronger. And now the more I drink of it, but all in all, still a lot of sweetness, a lot of this grassy middle tones, and then going over into this more citrusy, fresh and astringent note. Definitely a great taste experience. I will finish this here, and with these words, I wish you a great day. And if you ever have questions, ask them to us. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to our channel, and hope to see you soon. Bye.